All right, now that we're a little more familiar with Hub and some general navigation, let's step through the process of actually creating a case. And the case would be either a code compliance case or a planning entitlement or a building permit generally. So there really are several different ways to get there. I'll show you probably the most two common ways. We'll start off from the Hub front page. If you want to create a new case, you can go to this EnerGov menu, and you'll have to determine, obviously, are we going to create a code enforcement case, which we click there, or are we going to create a plan, manage plan? Are we going to add a plan, or maybe are we going to add a permit? And if we click there, we'll be taken directly into EnerGov to the Add Permit screen. There's also another way to get to any one of these three case types by going to Parcel Manager first. That'll take you to the location and give you some general information. I'm generally finding that this is a more useful tool because it'll give you a little bit more background, especially if you need to do a little bit of research before you create the case. You can click Parcel Manager and you'll be brought into this screen. Now, before I go further, you don't have to start off in Hub to get to these items. If you're already in EnerGov, you can do the same thing by going up to the Omnibar and clicking Add, let's say, Permit. There you go, or Add Plan. That'll get you to the same screen, or if you want to go to the Parcel Manager, you can just go to the Rubik's Cube and click Parcel Manager. So we'll start here. We'll start with the Parcel Manager. The first step it's going to ask us is generally where do we want to create this case. Now notice it's not asking us what we want to create yet, it's just asking us where do we want to start. So if we search addresses, I'm going to choose 380. I don't know if it's North or South Michigan, so I'm just going to type in Mich. That should get me anything that matches. So 380 North Michigan SFR, that looks right. I'm going to start there. So one of the neat things about starting off in Parcel Manager is it'll give you a little map showing you, confirming is this really the one you're talking about. But let's say you're going to be creating a plan case and you need to see, hey, did they really get a variance to say what they want to do? You can start here and just go to linked records and you can see all the codes, inspections, permits, plans, and projects that were on this location before you even create the permit. So if I go over to plans, we can say maybe they said they got a variance for a 4-story house. And this is a funny place. I just want to show you. It's this place. It looks like they just took a normal house and just squished it into one, and it goes all the way back there. Anyways, if you check out the variant, you can see what's already been approved there. Or let's say they're coming in to get an electrical permit, and you need to confirm, hey, did they really ever final the building permit at this location? So you can pull up the permits. I can sort by the permit name. I'm going to look for BLD. BLD final? Yep. So it looks like they did get a BLD. So you have all this information right at your fingertips, which I think is pretty neat. So if I go back to the summary, if this looks right, I can click this almost like a pin drop button, and what it's going to do is bring me into this create location. Now you can see again, I'm just getting a bigger view of the map, see a little bit more of the parcel, but from here I can simply go up to this folder icon with a plus, and it's going to say basically you want to create a record off of this location. So here's where you can choose any one of these to create. So in this case we're going to step through creating a permit. And if you recall, because there's two addresses, it's going to ask me which one's the primary. I'm going to say this one. There we go. Now if you recall this screen here, way back on the Hub page, let's say I went directly to add a permit. I went to Community Development, Manage Permits, clicked Add Permit. Here we are. So this is really the same screen that we're seeing here. It gets us to the same spot, but going through Parcel Manager kind of gives us a little bit more opportunity to look for, do we really have the right place, and is there any information about that parcel or location that might help me in determining the validity of the permit. So let's take it from here. You can see, kind of like some other ones, we have a list of process steps. Some people call them breadcrumbs, where it'll generally walk you through creating this permit. So we have the address here. We have who the GIS system says is the owner. And in this case, we don't see one. So let's see what we do. Let's go to next. So it's going to ask us what's the permit type we want. Let's just say it's going to be a building SFR, and they're going to have an addition. They're going to build a 4th story on top of that. They're going to build an ADU on it. Tell you what, let's build an accessory dwelling unit. I think we have space for it. Type in the description. Floor. You can see it already populated the district. A lot of the GIS information is in there. We can either click next, or we can literally just click on the next step. Now, one of the neat things is you kind of like the Silverlight version. It does kind of lay us out in a logical flow, but we can bounce around here and add what we have in front of us. So let's say before I even get to this spot, I'm going to put in the contact. So in this case, we didn't have any owner from the parcel, so let's search and put in let's see if we can find that. I think it's 2 R's. There we go. So we're going to add him as the owner. Now you can see that this permit type requires at least the owner and the applicant. Now in the old Silverlight version, we'd have to go through the process. Let's say the owner was the applicant, same person. We'd have to go through the same process, add this person again, and it would look like he's in there twice. With the HTML version, we can take this original contact and simply click the plus and say, you know what, he's not only the owner, he is the applicant. There we go. It's gone there. And if he isn't the applicant, of course, we can search contacts and add whomever we want. So I'm going to make this one the applicant. So he's the owner applicant, kind of like the owner builder. If there are any files we want to attach, we can attach the plans. We can attach all this stuff at this point. We'll just go through a simple basic attachment. It's going to ask us where is the file we want to add. We want to, file type. We have it specified saying we need a specific type of file. So like for instance plans, it's going to ask for a PDF. So if I can find a random PDF. There we go. And we can say this is category plans, attach. We can attach the others later. So as we click through the process, we go to the fees. We can see what it's automatically generating here. And you notice, I noticed right off the bat that, hey, I'm not seeing any of the plan check fees. Certainly there should be some plan checks for an EDU. It's kind of because we skipped over this permit details portion here, the additional info. And in here, you can see, there's still 3 things we need to add. So for valuation, I'm going to just put it 200,000. Put it in both spots. New units, yep. And stories, there's going to be 4 stories. Second unit is another term for ADU. All right, so at least we've got that information in there. If we know the building data, we could put in habitable, ADU, work class, suite edition. It's going to be 1,400 square feet. Other information there. So now, as we click through, we should see our contacts files. Now, if we go to fees, now we should start seeing some of those plan check fees pop up because we put in valuation. There we go. So we see all the fees added here. The final step, the confirmation step, or click next. And it's going to give us everything in kind of like one big overview. See the location, some general details, some additional info field, contacts, files if we attach them, and the fees. This all looks right. Simple as clicking finish. And we have created our case. Eventually. There we go. So we now have the case ready and we can begin processing. Now, I'll also step you quickly through, since we already have a permit, we'll step you through creating a quick code case also. And we'll start this one from the hub. So I'm going to go back into code. We're going to add a code case. And you can see this kind of bypasses the whole map interface. It takes you directly to the create your case portion. And that might be just fine. You might know exactly what you want to apply for, or what you want to create and where you want to create it. So it's just like the permit. We're going to just go across the steps. We can add the address. This can be 100. Choose the right address, select. And the process will be the same. We'll go through the code case details, if there's any violations at this point, all the way through confirmation. So the process really is the same. And this screen is actually a good demonstration of when we hit that final confirmation page, the system does a final check through for us. And if there's stuff missing or stuff we still need to add before we save it, it's going to tell us. So we can see there are two sections here that we kind of just skipped over, but we can see that here's what we still need to fill in. Here we have to put in at least one contact type. So it'll kind of do a double check for us before we try to save. And just so the planners can see their types of case, we'll create one for them too. I'll tell you what, we'll create it from EnerGov. So if I just go here, add plan, we can see how it looks through this way. Same looking thing again. Location, details, additional info, contacts, files, fees, and confirm. So generally, the case creation process is pretty much the same for any one of our modules. There's just a number of ways to get to it, and depending on whether or not you know exactly what you want to create, or if you want to go to Parcel Manager and get some background information before you create it, both of those are available to you.